guys, it's Ruby from Oofy Scraps, and I am back with part 3 of the Joshua Tree birthday mini album. If you have not seen the first 2 chapters of this video, I will link them up in the cards, but we are back in Joshua Tree, and this time we're actually going to the national park, so very exciting. Also, I am not using my microphone because I'm on a different computer and the microphone doesn't plug into this computer, so hopefully the audio is not really echoey or whatever, but if it's weird, that's why. We're just gonna roll with it though. So this is our first full day in Joshua Tree. I think we started like in the morning or whatever of the last video, but we're actually heading into the park. So where we stayed was a couple minutes outside of the park, and now we're actually heading in. So what I'm actually doing here is picking through a bunch of little decorative pieces. Most of them are from 2022 Ali Edwards travel collection. So a lot of little bits and pieces. I was just auditioning to see what I thought would look good, and now I'm going to stick my picture down. The biggest thing that happens in this video that was not planned or whatever, I think I might have talked about this at the end of the last video, but I ended up taking this park map that I got, like the park map from Joshua Tree, and I cut it down to the size of my paper, and I'm using them as a bunch of different backgrounds because they obviously are ephemera, but it also adds like a neutral background that's right on theme without being distracting from the photos. I was feeling like all of the pattern papers I was choosing, first of all, weren't super cohesive, and also were kind of distracting or creating kind of like a visual overwhelm to the photos and the overall like theme of these spreads. So I thought that the little matte paper was the perfect like semi-neutral background while also still being on theme, if you know what I mean. So I picked some that were just like literally the map, which is what that one was. And then I also picked some that were more like pictures on the map and things that I thought were cooler that I wanted to cut out. But now we're jumping ahead to the next spread, which is 2 photos, or 3 photos actually. One is a 4x4 square like I've been doing, and the other side I have 2 little like, I don't know, what are they, like 1.5 by 2.5 pictures, or maybe 2 by 3s, something like that. So the first photo I took of all the boys on the rocks, which I thought was cool. They were kind of like candid and like, I don't know, I just thought it was cool. And then using all that blue sky kind of negative space, I added a couple little circle things. And on the page beside it, again, using my favorite pattern paper, the little camera, colorful camera print, I stick 2 photos of me that Steven took of me, which is so nice. Me looking out and then me looking forward, I guess. I don't know. I have my hiking boots on. Life is good. So I used a little half circle yellow punched out a little circle, and then I also layered on top of that this little wood like pedestrian crossing sign, I guess. I thought it was cool because I was hiking. That is from, I think, Redefined Creative, if you're wondering. I have a couple of little wood veneer pieces from them. And now I'm trying to decide what I want to do on this bottom section. I was thinking about using this paper, maybe putting a little word thing that says "Let's Get Lost." I do end up using that, but I don't end up using that paper. But now I'm jumping back to the other side, and I'm going to staple down those circles. I've decided I really like them, so I'm going to fully commit just using my tiny attacher, which is my fave. I've used it a ton in this album, and I just kind of use it in everything. It's one of my most used tools and definitely like one of the best purchases I made. So I'm just going to get those circles all stuck down, except for I guess I stapled down that first one in a place I didn't like. I wanted to stagger them, and then I didn't have enough room, so I'm going to actually rip this staple out and then re-staple it and then layer that yellow circle. It's like a yellow fabric badge from Ali Edwards. It's from an older travel collection. I will get that all adjusted and then staple it down. The yellow badge has a little sun on it, which is pretty cute. And then the other one is a vellum circle. It says "Explore Nature," which I thought was appropriate because we were exploring nature. So kind of a match made in heaven. And then I'm going to go back and start kind of messing around more with this side. I end up using this blue washi tape that has little, there it is, little yellow flowers on it. I don't know where that's from. Probably scrapbook.com. So I'll stick a little bit of that, layer that underneath the picture, and then I'll layer that "Let's Get Lost" phrase felt banner thingy on top of that. And then I will also stick down my pictures, get it all going all well. So this is a cute little collection. I do like that I use different sized photos on this page. It added a little bit of variation to what has become a little redundant in this album. I think it's a little hard with such a small album to create really unique, diverse layouts because you're working with such a small space. So being able to have a little bit of pizzazz here and there is fun and satisfying for sure. All right, so that guy is all squared away, and I'm going to now move on to the next side. Actually, I'm putting more adhesive down. Got to make sure things are really stuck. But then I'm going to move on to the next 2-page spread, which is again featuring some of that map paper that I cut down, this time using more of like a colorful one as more of a statement piece. So this is like a picture of some flora and fauna, or just flora, not fauna. And I really loved this larger wood veneer piece that's from another Ali Edwards collection, an older one. So I stuck that down as a little camera. It's cool because it's like a big size. It makes a good impact on this size because it is a big camera, which would be harder to me to use in general. But on a 4x4 book specifically, it really creates a big impact because it's really big in comparison to 4x4. Whereas this on a 12x12 page would be big, but it would just, I don't know, just wouldn't vibe the right way. So here I am again. You guys saw in the last video, I think, I did one of these flip out pages. I already created the flip out mechanism to save you guys time from watching it again, but now I'm just going to cover and embellish. So I'm using this little piece of colorful paper. I made a little tab with my tab punch, this time using the green and white, what is it, buffalo check. And then I'm using this fun, colorful paper from the Sweet Story collection to cover the reverse side, and then I will add a little bit of pizzazz to the outside of that so it feels a little more completed, a little more incorporated, a little more fun. And then I have this hole behind the camera, and I was like at first leaving it with the background, but then I decided it'd be kind of fun to have a different background paper. So I'm backing it with a little bit of pink cardstock. And I think I also back the little camera hole, like the little, I don't know what that would be, the flash. I don't end up backing the top section, which is an interesting decision. I just realized. I don't know if I realized when I was making that decision, but long story long, we're doing that. We're going to tape it down with some washi tape, make sure it's all secured, and then I will adhere that all down onto the background paper. And of course, gotta layer it. So we're adding some washi tape. I add another one of those little, well, it's not another one. It's a fabric phrase banner. I was gonna say pelt. It's not a pelt. It's like a pennant banner. It says Born to Roam, which I thought was cute. And then I will do a little stamp in the center of that camera because I felt like the negative space, it just needed something. And it was small, and I had a small stamp. And thus begins the stamping adventure in this album. So stamping is something I always want to do more of, but it's just I forget to do it, or I get too lazy, or I don't think of it. So I pull out this cute little compass stamp that is from the same Ali Edwards 2022 travel collection that I've referenced 1,000 times. I pull that out, go ahead, stamp it down. It's perfect. And then I'm like, oh my God, I should use some more stamps. So I just kind of go on a stamping frenzy. I got my black StazOn out. Also, because this was inside of the veneer, the wood veneer, I just used my finger as a stamping block because I couldn't get my stamping block to fit in there right. It worked out. It was very creative, and I'm glad I thought of that. So in addition to all the little cute icons on this stamp block, they also have some phrases. So I end up selecting Let's Go Exploring. And I was like, am I going to put it this way, like normal way? And then I was like, oh, I should put it like horizontal, sideways. I don't know. You'll see. Because I thought it filled the space more creatively. It was interesting. And then I planned to put a little bit of typed journaling, like little teeny tiny blocks of typed journaling down this side of this paper, the rest of the space. I think that'd be a cute little way of getting a little bit of journaling on there, but not too much, working with the space I have, also making it look visually appealing. So again, black StazOn ink, stamp it down. I think I stamp it wrong or I don't stamp it well, so I have to stamp it again. But that just adds to the handmade prestige of the whole thing. So we're going to do that. We're going to love it. It's going to be cute. I'm excited. So I do that. And then I think I layer some washi tape underneath because it kind of felt like it was just floating and I wanted it to feel a little bit more grounded. You could see the stamping mistake. It happens to the best of us. I try to stamp it perfectly lined up. It's not, but it's still legible. It almost kind of looks like I have like a drop shadow almost. So it's kind of cool, but it is what it is. So do that, and then I add a little skinny washi tape to kind of ground, hold down, anchor down, if you will, the exploring title situation. So there it is. It says beautiful day repeated. It's like a blue, pink, yellow, ombre blend thing going on. It's cute because it grounds it without taking up too much space because I did want to leave that space for a potential journaling spot. I don't add journaling into my album, I don't think at all while we're watching. I might do tiny bit of type or written journaling with just my pen at some point, but I'm pretty sure for the most part, I'm just gonna do all that outside off camera. It's easier for my brain. So now we're back on the other side, or no, we're on the inside of this little flip out. And I did all of this off camera, but I didn't mean to, I just was below out of the frame. I took a little blue and white polka dot paper, and then I took another one of these little felt pennant flag things. It says leave your worries at home. I did this on an earlier spread, I think on a different video, in the video before or something. But it's just a layered look I really like. I did this on a different album also. Oh, I've been doing it in my road trip album, which was what I was working on before I took my like unplanned break from making videos. I will be returning to that series in a little bit. I have one more video to make before I do the final flip through. It's going to come eventually if you were wondering. But through all my yapping, I feel like I'm having a hard time focusing right now. I'm like talking kind of crazy. But regardless of that, we're on the next page. Here's a picture of my friend Tyler, and he like had really climbed up high and he was up on a rock. So we took a picture of him. You might be able to tell that like diagonally down to the right, bottom right of Tyler is a little hand peeking out in like a blue shirt. That's Steven. So they had like crawled through this crack and then climbed up to this rock, and it was just really funny. So I took a photo. It says wander freely on that cute little faux pleather, what is it, tag. Stuck that down, and we're on to the next page. Another one of those map backgrounds. I really liked the picture on here. It's talking about some plant. I just stuck down a sticker that I bought at a gift shop in Joshua Tree. Thought that turned out really cute. And then I also had this little piece of the map that said Joshua Tree National Park, and I wanted to use that. So I trim it down to a skinnier little kind of banner situation or whatever, and I will stick that down with some double-sided adhesive, and I kind of just use it as like a tiny phrase strip almost. I think it's a really cute way of adding the ephemera, but also using it as an embellishment kind of. So you will see that come together right here. And of course, we got to anchor it down. So this picture it's on is just like a lookout picture when we got to the top of one of our rock climbing escapades. The lookout, like the view was really pretty, but if you took like a few steps back, the rock face kind of framed the picture in an interesting way. So I was getting my little photography hat on, and I liked the way this picture looked, but obviously there's no people in it, so it was a good place to add some embellishment. So again, with that blue daisy washi tape, I anchor it down. I add the Joshua Tree National Park little ephemera piece, and then I will add some additional stickers. I pull out that trusty dusty Simple Stories sticker book that I've been using a bunch. The like Let's Wander collection or Let's Go collection. I can't remember. But we're sticking the photo down onto some paper. I just talked about those stickers and I don't even do it in this video. I must do it off camera. But just, you'll have to believe me. You'll see it in the flip through. And then on the next page, again, some more of that map. This time it's like the front cover of the map and it says Joshua Tree. I end up leaving this completely blank just as like kind of a resting point for the eyes. It kind of speaks for itself. I liked that it was like the cover, so I didn't really need to add anything. The other side, we have another picture. So this is one of Steven just sitting there chilling on a rock, looking all, I don't know, peaceful. And I add one of these cute little half tags. It says here and now. And again, it sort of just felt like it was floating, so I will anchor it down with some more of that pinky orange ombre beautiful day washi tape. So I'll just stick one little bit of that down. And for all the tags as like a cohesive moment, I've just used this blue and white baker's twine that I got at Hobby Lobby, I think. Yeah, Hobby Lobby. Next page, this is where we get a little crazy. I was getting bored. It was feeling redundant, so I wanted to do something to spice it up. Except for JK, I'm skipping ahead to the next page. This one is very simple. I keep it real simple, but it's just a picture. We were leaving. It was like the sun was starting to set. Joshua trees looking real pretty. I had to have a Joshua tree picture of the literal trees for my album. And I also have this cute little patch I picked up. I like including patches in my albums. I think it's a really nice way of incorporating some texture. It's an easy ephemera bit. It's at most gift shops, so I made it easy. This next page is like us at the campsite that night and then the next morning, but they were a little difficult for me to figure out. So I end up coming back to that in the next video. But the last picture I include in the album is me and my friend Olivia. She showed up later. She was out of town. She drove down. It was a whole thing. But she showed up. We got a cute picture to prove that she existed on this trip. It ended up being a really, really cute picture. So we're just hanging out, hugging at camp. And I end up doing a similar thing I did on a previous page where I put a little washi down as an anchor. And then I will use one of those little vellum pennant phrase thingies from Allie Edwards. And I just make a little cluster. Of course, like I said, gotta add the baker's twine. It's the perfect little thing. I really don't like when tags tags have a hole in them. I don't like when the tags don't have string through the hole. It feels like incomplete or something. So I gotta always add the little string. And I think it was a good decision to do the baker's twine because it's small and skinny and like simple, but it also is consistent throughout the album. So it doesn't really take away, it doesn't get too crazy, but it's a consistent element. So I think that was a good decision for me. I also like to loop the little string around the back side of the page and I just stick it down with some washi to make sure it doesn't fling around. And then when I adhere the two pattern papers back to back, when I'm done with the album, I'll go ahead and do that with everything. It gets like hidden between the layers. And then we skip forward in time to a whole nother day. You could see I have rings on, my nail polish might have even changed. But we're going back to that page I skipped earlier. So that's a look at the pictures or the pages we just did. But to me in real time, it's like a day later or something. So I have this super cute little chipboard frame that's from the Allie Edwards Laura Wansick collection. I think it was like the Nostalgia collection. So I just backed that with double-sided adhesive and I'm going to stick this on top of this super cute picture of everyone. So I got the boys together and was like, we're taking a group photo, please, for me. This is all I want for my birthday. And they happily obliged. Pretty happily. So we're all sitting on the rock. We did a good old self timer, and I thought that this cute little frame, I love the frame, so I was excited to get to use it in my special little birthday album. But I also thought it was a good little addition to this page because I didn't want to add any embellishments on top of this picture too much to like cloud up the actual picture itself, but I did want to put a little something to make it feel a little more incorporated. And then this bottom of the frame had a little space, so I did a here and now stamp that was from the stamp set that's from, I don't remember where it's from. But if you guys want to know, you can ask me in a comment and I will figure it out for you. And on the other side, I was thinking I was going to do journaling, but then I decided I want to just do like a fun little embellishment cluster situation. So I'm using a ton of the Laura Wansick Nostalgia collection that Allie Edwards came out with earlier this year, I think. Maybe last year. I don't remember. But I was cleaning my desk out between this clip and before. And I like came back across, I had that whole collection stuck together at my desk. And I was like, oh my God, this is really cute. I should be using it. The colors are perfect. It's super fun. So I ended up incorporating a ton of that here. And you'll see some ultimate indecisiveness. I like audition 1,000 different things. I move it around a bunch. I think a big thing was it's a small space. Like I've said a bunch of times, 4x4 little mini album. I also really want to include a couple of bigger elements like that speech thingy or the quote in the middle and then the butterfly. I ended up putting the butterfly on a different page, but it was just too much right here. So the little flower shaped green cardstock quote thingy says, life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it, which is from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. This collection was like nostalgia and like TV shows and animated stuff. So a lot of movie quotes and things like that. Again, I'm anchoring my little embellishment cluster down with none other than washi tape. I'm going back with this orange floral washi tape that I really like. It's been another consistent kind of element throughout this album. So I stick that down, and then I have this little vellum heart I staple down, and then I go and add that cute geotag. It's like a heart wood veneer geotag. I actually don't do that right now. I do it later. Again with the stamps though. So I end up clustering a couple different stamps on this page. It's pretty cute. And we will see. I think I'm adding a little camera right now. Oh no, I lied. I'm adding a little quote or a phrase that says, no day like today, which is cute because it was a fun special day. And then I'm gonna stick that cute little heart geotag down with just a little bit of liquid glue to make sure it stays. And then I will go in with this little rainbow stamp. And I end up using that pink ink from Tim Holtz. It like matches really well with the pink stripes above them. And then I will layer on top of that a little black camera. I also add some stickers to this page and some other stuff, just all kinds of fun embellishments. I was excited that I got my stamps out. I found some places to use them. Once I get them out and I get going, I find them easier to use. It's just in my head, it always seems like it's going to be a lot of work to get the stamps out, but I'm glad I did. I'm glad I made it work. And then I just pull out that sticker book and add a couple of stickers in the remaining blank spaces. This video ends really abruptly because it was getting pretty long. I cut a ton of it out, but it was getting long. So I end up just sticking some more stickers down and just filling up the space in this album or this little spread here. But that is pretty much it for chapter 3. Stay tuned for chapter 4. I think it's going to be my last video before the flip through, but I will see you in the next one, and I hope you enjoyed. Bye, guys.